We're joined by the head coach of the New York Giants, Joe Judge. And, Coach, you take a look at this football game. It's a tight football game. You had a chance to take a shot, and they get an interception. Fortunately, players ruled down by contact inside the 5-yard line, and your defense comes up with a really big play to kind of set a chain of events in motion. Let's talk about this 3rd and 5 play and the sack by Quincy Roche.
Yeah, so we talk about being aggressive as a team throughout the week, and Mike took a shot down the field, and it's unfortunate at the interception. We want to eliminate all the turnovers, penalties that we can. That stops you from having a chance to win the game. But the biggest thing we want to go ahead and highlight here is, the approach our defense has is they don't decide when they go on the field, but how they play and how they react to the situation. So from a defensive mindset, they've got to look at it more in terms of this is almost like a punt for them. Now they got to hold the field position and give us a chance to get the ball back and get in scoring position. So it's a great example right here as you go ahead and just look on tape. And again, we give them a 3rd and 5 situation right here on the tape, and we get them backed up. And really, the 3 plays we're going to talk about today are just really some key elements that we talk about throughout the week of things we had to do to give ourselves a chance to be successful. And one of the things we had to do was get them off the field in 3rd down. He's been very efficient, too. He's been doing a great job of staying ahead of the sticks, converting a lot of balls. But really, on 3rd down, it was going to be about having tight coverage underneath because the majority of their production was really coming underneath. And we had to do a good job of getting this guy off the spot and making him uncomfortable. So we're going to tie it together right here. And again, everything complements each other. So the rush is going to be ones who get the credit for the play here, but it all starts on the back end right here, all right, with the secondary in terms of how they map it up. So we're going to look right here, and on the adjustment, we're going to match the coverage right here. And just within the first few yards, you can see that what the quarterback's seeing is everything's very tightly matched. You got James in a low hip position right here. Logan's got outside hip position, really working to Jules right here, who's the low hole helper. You've got good outside squeeze, and you got a deep field safety right here with Zay, who's getting ready to break. So once he starts peaking, he sees all these spots and windows taken up, so he doesn't have an opportunity to get the ball out of his hands fast. By making him hold it, the rush is going to have a chance to get home. But you can just see right here how it fits on together and how they play that as they push it on through and let them go crossing. There's a player in each area to match it tightly as it declares. Okay, and we're playing more of a zone, but a match zone in this instance right here. So it plays out kind of like man-to-man coverage, making sure we have it. But as we push on through the crossers, you can see right here, all right, Jaron right there, letting the overs go, letting the unders go, Julian matching, Zay being in position to break right there. And then you can see it here that as he starts scrambling, there's no outlet. There's no one to unload the ball to. Anyone he throws to, we've got eyes on him, we've got the receivers matched, and that's going to allow the rush to get home. Now, on the back end, we talk about the rush in terms of capitalizing on the time they're given from the coverage. This is going to be a good combination of really talk about getting them off the spot. And again, the big part for us right here is young guy Ellerson Smith, who's making improvements every week. You can see him really on the flush game of playing underneath tight, and then Tay wrapping around right here. And this is going to give us just an opportunity with the movement up front of getting him off the spot, making him sidestep right there, not be comfortable, and then with the chase rush coming off the edge right here with Quincy. So it's really a little bit of an under and over combination to flush him, get him off the spot, and let the chaser come and get home right there. It's a good combination. Again, you see Dex right there powering on through the guard, Leo working to go ahead and collapse the pocket. But the 2 young guys right here, Ellerson, all right, and Quincy, working that combination of flush and chase. And then you see Tay right here hugging up on the back, but having to contain, forces Tua to step back up inside. And then again, Quincy can go ahead and get home right here on the rush with a good sack, get him down. So the coverage tying in right there, letting the rush have a chance to get home. It's a good job right there of finishing the play and the combination of the rush. It was a good plan by Pat and his staff to go ahead and give the guys a chance to make a play. And you see a lot of young guys coming around right now, starting to come in their own. A guy like Ellerson's getting a lot more comfortable on the field. A guy like Quincy's being more and more productive week after week and playing to his strengths.
And, Coach, if you can just go back to the coverage angle of this, the one thing that stood out to me was Julian Love in the hole because he actually took away 2 passes. He had a shallow crosser and a crosser behind him in the window. And if you just run that, when you get both those crossers there, it looks like Julian was going to chase one crosser out, but then he just sits right there. Now he's covered 2 windows. So if the quarterback did have time to throw the football, he's in both throwing lanes. He's in position to make the tackle in front of him, but he's also in that window where it's going to be a difficult throw for the quarterback, and you got 2 defenders behind him.
Yeah, 100%. And he's taking away the underneath guy by position and vision right there. And then by holding his depth and not chasing it and taking the cheese the entire way right there, he makes it that he can't just throw it cleanly over him underneath. And then Zay playing in good position with good vision, that he's in position right here to break that the ball gets thrown. You can see Zay coming in the vision right there. So as that low hole player complemented with the deep field safety, these are really the two free guys within a scheme. As you start talking at the beginning of the play of who are the guys who are going to play off and go ahead and grab them and help inside, it's the deep help, it's the low help, and how they really come into the focal points of the play as the crossers really emerge right there that we can take them away.
Coach, we just showed the sequence of Quincy Roche getting a sack. So Miami's pinned, and now you get help in the return game with the Giants getting the ball in plus field position. Talk a little bit about this play and Pharoh Cooper's return.
Yeah, so to me, it's all about the situation before we get the specific play. We talk about the things we had to do, and getting them off the field was part of it. The other part of it was holding them on a long field. So through kickoff coverage or good defense when we get field position, and then creating the opportunity for a return game to put the offense on a short field and come away with points. So that's a good example right here again, because off of Quincy's sack right there, we get a 4th and 10 situation, and it's backed up. So there's a couple elements that really fall into this right here. When you look at the area of the field in terms of how you're playing, this is one of the most uncomfortable positions you can be in as a football team, when you have to punt in a backed up range. And the reason that is, it's on the 3-yard line. Generally speaking, most teams are at least 14 yards from the snapper. So you're already in a tighter window in terms of the approach the punter can take. Your protection has to adjust and protect at a shorter window and not back all the way up. And you give yourself an opportunity for either strong rushes inside, where you can get to the block point faster, maybe get a hand on the ball, or aggressive returns. When we say aggressive returns, meaning the opportunity to get 2 on the gunners outside because you're not overly worried about a fake. Now, you got to still approach everything from a defensive mindset to go ahead and eliminate the opportunity for fake. But when they're backed up in this position here, they've got to really go ahead, and their main focus inside is make sure they secure this punt spot right here, let them get the ball off. The gunner's got to go out there and get good coverage, but the returner's got to do a good job of fielding the ball and then stealing yards going vertical, because this part of the protection will definitely be slower getting out for the coverage. So it's a good example right here, and we're going to talk right here about some adjustments. So we're going to start on the bottom right here. All right, Howard does a good job actually winning as a gunner, getting down the field, but it's going to highlight the decision-making down the field by Jaron, and then Cooper making someone miss in space. But in this situation here, we elect to go for the return more so than the rush. Now, Miami does a good job, and they actually alert, and they go opposite our vice, which a lot of teams will do. So when they see 2 over 1, they say, we'll flip it. The wind's not a big enough factor in that game. We'll punt at a single down here and create a better opportunity. Now, that being said, when you're in this backed up situation, the directional aspect of the punts isn't always great, because what the punter's really thinking is stay in the apex, stay protected, don't walk wide, because if there's pressure right here, you may be walking into a block point right there, and you don't want to put anything at risk. So you see a good job right here, all right, of holding up inside. No one's getting clean releases off the line of scrimmage. So already inside, our interior holdup is doing a good job establishing vertical separation. Now, as the ball comes on down, you can see our vice up top is going ahead and eliminating that gunner and giving him a fit. Now on the bottom, Jaron ends up losing this match here, but you can see right here, Pharoh does a good job of catching the ball, making the first man miss, and then Jaron does a good job of getting to the second level, as we call it, and going to find another free player and getting a block. Now, we're talking about in this situation is if we make them punt from back here, we've got to get the ball as close to the 40 as we can to say we have a solid drive start right there. Pharoh does a good job of getting vertical. He gets it past the 40, and just by field position right there, we factor that in right there with Graham is saying we're right there at 3 points right now. So based on just the defensive holdup, all right, and the punt return we got from Pharoh, we're saying we've got 3 points on the board right now. Now let's be aggressive and moving on in there, either ensure an easier field goal, but ultimately get in the end zone with touchdowns, which is something we've got to continue to work on as a team. But watch from the back end right here, what you can see is the different combinations. And just by base rules of protection, pretty much every team's going to block it relatively the same. They're going to say in the box, counting outside in, saying that he's the first man, he's the second, he's the third, he's the first, he's the second, and you'll count the third or the fourth here. Now, by count, the wings have the ones, the tackles have the twos, the guards have the threes, and the center and the PP, they spy for the fours. Because there's only 7 in the box, one of these two, the PP or the center, based on schematic, will end up being free. But what you see here is the movement we're going to have on our holdup, all right, changes the count and frees them so that they can't just go ahead, short set, plug, and then get into running down the field. And we're working here is a little bit of a twist combination, and as his 3 goes across, he's got to stand longer. As his 3 goes across, that guard's got to stand longer. Gives an opportunity to get good aggressive holdups there. You see on the outside, he's looking to block the 2. Here comes Cam Brown from the outside in, really collapsing, getting good contact on him. And just these angles right here, you can see the bodies, they get twisted up over there. Just those angles change the count and make them pause in terms of being able to aggressively just get out fast. It creates some separation and hold up. And then ultimately, it's about getting those gunners, making somebody miss in space, and then getting that ball vertical to create the field position. So again, we talk all the time about points, and we talk all the time about, hey, when we get them in a backed up situation, this has to be a 3-point play for us. We've got to capitalize on the return, put us in position. With Graham Gano, we always factor getting somewhere around that 35-yard line as being in position for a field goal.
Coach, you talk about getting vertical. Now, that's part of the plan. When a team is backed up, you don't want to waste a lot of time going east and west. You know that there's going to be some lane to go vertical. Is that what the discussion is?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We just don't want to waste a lot of time. Now, if it was a team that was going to get really hard direction, Carl, and we knew that the ball was going to be painted somewhere over there, we would still stress, let's get this thing and steal the yards going vertical and try to cut off their coverage before they can get out to the field and cover it. All right, now, what we're not really looking to do, though, as you said, is if we caught the ball here and the coverage is late to get out anyway, we don't want to waste time going this way, because for every step or two you're taking that way, they're taking a step or two going vertically, and they're going to reduce the space that you have to go ahead and create that field position. So ultimately, we want to get that ball, and even when we're working a side right or left, we're working vertically at a hard angle, right or left, and we're really, as we say, we're working off butts, meaning you're looking at the butt of your blockers and cutting off the butts, and it's going to be a good shot right here again. You know, watching Farrow, and you can see it, that as that declares, you see just the big picture as a whole, that when he catches that ball, that's really where the space is. You know, you don't want to waste a lot of time trying to bubble around. If he can stretch you out, he's going to close the gap and maybe have better coverage and field position. You want to get inside, get vertical. And you see right here, Jaron getting a block on. And again, he sees the butt of his blocker right there. He knows that he's in between him and the defender. He's cutting off right there, getting vertical, not wasting a lot of time. And again, good ball security and getting as close to that 35 as we can.
All right, now we take you to the third quarter. Dolphins had the ball first, and the Giants held Miami to 3 and out. In fact, they held Miami to 3 and out on their first 3 possessions of the third quarter. But, Coach, you get the ball back after the 3 and out. You're pinned deep, but you're able to hit on a big third down play. Third and long is not exactly something that you're looking for, but Evan Ingram makes a play for you to keep this drive alive.
Right. Well, part of this game, as we knew going into it, was there was going to be some situations where we're going to have to dig ourselves out of some long yard situations. And, you know, Miami's a very good team at blitzing, putting pressure on you, and they can get behind the sticks a lot of times. We knew we were going to have to find some matchups and create opportunities for guys to make plays and dig it out. And right now we're sitting at 10-3, and this play is significant for us because it ends up extending a drive in a long yard situation. It ends up getting us points to make it 10-6. Now, as we watch right here from a 3rd and 10 situation, we're really looking at what they're trying to do. So when we get this look right here, knowing how Miami is, we can tell right now they're going to rush all 5 of the guys in the box. So they're trying to create as many one-on-one matchups across the board. And knowing how that defense is constructed, and when number 70, Adam Butler's inside, this is really a big, heavy movement type of team. A lot of games inside and making sure the guys have to communicate and pass off twists. Now, on the perimeter, what they're really looking for is they want more man matches right there. Now, what they end up playing here is more of a match zone, bringing 5, more fire zone type mentality. And what we're able to find right here with Glennon is he sees the defense and the shells of pressures coming, and he identifies where's the space in it right here. Because of the high outside leverage with the corners, they're sitting on any kind of a deep out route that's going to work towards the sticks. Mike does a good job of finding what the matchup's going to be and getting us to the ball on the inside. Now, the focus right here, okay, was identifying what the coverage is. All right, man versus zone. Identifying what kind of pressure we're going to get. They're bringing 5 right here. We know the ball's going to come out, you know, a little bit quicker than if they're just rushing 3 or 4. So in this instance here, he's got to find the best matchup for us going down the field. And Evan's done a really good job, had multiple conversions on 3rd down the other day, several on 3rd and long. And it's a good example right here, all right, that as the pressures come and the offensive line create enough of a pocket, Mike does a really good job of stepping up in there and delivering an accurate ball. But you see the combination right here with the in-break and move from Evan, the drag coming underneath right there from Kenny. And what you're looking for is, all right, if they take this away with some kind of a double, can you get the catch and the run to go ahead and get the sticks? Now, up top, they're squeezing with more, you know, inside leverage. Coop does a good job of slipping them right there and give them a chance. But the ultimate matchup here for us was Evan working right here, okay, on their nickel, creating the inside leverage, a little bit of move, and then turning, giving his chest, and continuing to move away from his leverage, catching the ball, securing it, and then getting vertical right there to extend it on the 1st down. And then that was just good for us right there of Mike identifying what the coverage was based on their personnel in the game, their front alignment, and then the leverage and bump over on the motion. Now, again, Mike does a good job right here of identifying it, bringing it on through. Now, he's got that clock running to his head. He knows he's got to go ahead and can't waste any time. You see him, how fast that happens. He looks back. He sees the deep field safety immediately. It didn't go to anything split. He didn't drop down. His eyes go outside. He knows he's reading really right there. Evan down to Kenny, based on his pre-snap read and his post-snap confirmation, does a good job delivering a good, accurate ball right there. There's Evan in space. Good job seeing it through the catch point and then tucking it, getting vertical, and finishing with a first down right there for us.
Now, Coach, on this, if you go back to the route that Evan runs, this is as much timing and spacing as is the protection, because the protection can't hold forever. So as Mike sees the hole in the defense, Evan has to see that accordingly, right?
Absolutely. And we talk to our guys all the time. It's not about running lines on a piece of paper. He knows he's got to set this guy up, but he also has to be very conscious of what's inside. Because he can see they've got 5 guys mugged up on the line right there, he just knows that ball's coming out faster. And as he goes ahead and presses, he's going to work on that player and make sure he maintains his outside leverage. It's a little bit of a shake there. And then once he snaps, you can see his head coming on right now because he anticipates that ball coming. And he knows that if we talk about it just lines on a piece of paper, the depth of the route's actually a little bit deeper. But what he understood in this instance here is, how are they sitting on me, sitting pretty aggressively? I'm not going to run them all the way off the ball right there. And what's the timing inside look like? The Russian 5, it's going to come out a little bit quicker. He tightens up right there in his route. He gets inside, protects the leverage by not bleeding it up the field where he can get undercut right there and give an opportunity for a pass breakup or an interception. He does a nice job here of just keep working away from the defenders. And that timing and spacing, as you referred to, again, it's that spacing right there. It's that vertical spacing from him and Kenny. It's that horizontal spacing, get them out of the same window, and it gives Mike a clear shot at the receiver.
Coach, we appreciate a couple minutes, as always. I know it's busy out there in Tucson with the time change and everything else, but thanks for joining us, and obviously best of luck on Sunday. We'll see you when we get out there.
All right, guys, look forward to it. Appreciate it.